This dude, he is just having too much fun out there. And and Jimmy Butler, I feel like, gave them a whole new resurgence in terms of energy and life, too, as well. The Warriors. I know we're not supposed to talk about the Warriors or the Lakers, but they're just special right now.
Idiot.
Monica?
Fool.
No, fool.
He said both, Molly. He said both.
I know.
But he would never talk about you. He would stop us all in a heartbeat.
Just so you know.
He'd punch somebody in the face if they talked about you, Molly.
Appreciate that.
Chuck, love you.
Listen,
I don't know if this is going to land the right way.
Don't.
Enough with the half court. Can we get the 3 quarters? Can we get the full court? I feel like we're seeing this every night. It's old hat. We need more.
Only because of Steph Curry. You ain't saying that about nobody else, but for Steph Curry, yeah. That's an every night kind of thing, capability. Nobody else.
I'm not
the greatest shooter God has ever created.
Kind of, sort of, at all whatsoever.
No, not at all. And I think that is what happens to us by greatness. Joe, you've been in sports for forever. That's how you know. We get spoiled by greatness, and somehow we think this is ordinary and mundane. No! This is insane. Steph is an incredible shooter, Hall of Famer, could power this team to who knows this year, but we have to give it that level of respect. Joe, no, it didn't land well. You should have kept that one to yourself.
Yeah, exactly, Joe. Hi, hater. All right, this was just par for the course for Steph. According to Draymond Green earlier this week on his podcast, he addressed exactly where Steph stands in the history of the association. Dre.
There's no one in the history of the NBA that has been schemed against and guarded the way Steph Curry is guarded. The way the game of basketball is played, not in NBA, I said the game of basketball is played worldwide, it's because of Steph Curry.
Sure.
You tell me the game of basketball is modeled after how you play the game and what you were so special at that everybody thought that, yo, that's what we need to do? And you telling me that guy don't go in the GOAT conversation?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen A., he tells no lies. He revolutionized the game. But I just want to remind the audience, S.A., we talked about this earlier this week, because remember, Shaq said that after the Warriors-Knicks game at the Garden, that he's played against all of them, Kobe, LeBron, MJ, and that Steph needs to be a part of the GOAT conversation. So, Stephen A., where are you on this?
I totally agree with Draymond. Draymond's 1,000% correct with everything that he said. Most importantly, he's more qualified than practically anybody on the planet to say it outside of Coach Steve Kerr himself. When you look at Draymond, I mean, he's been the facilitator for Steph Curry's greatness for the vast majority of his career. So much so that Steph Curry, that's the one untouchable commodity in Steph Curry's eyes. We've heard the Golden State Warriors entertaining a lot of things, changes that need to be made. Who's going to stay? Who's going to go? It was the outside world talking about Draymond. Nobody in Golden State ever mentioned that. You know why? Because that was unthinkable when it came to Steph Curry. Steph Curry knows what Draymond Green means to him and vice versa. And so when Draymond speaks about Steph Curry, we have to listen. When J.R. Smith talks about Matthew Dellavedova needing to go to a hospital to get oxygen because of chasing Steph Curry around, we got to listen to that. When you see that you're guarding him by committee because everybody has their head on a swivel collectively because he's such an extraordinary marksman, that you literally have to know where he is at all times. And you not only have to know where he is, Steph Curry is a person that we talk about and we throw out this cliche, pick him up at half court. But even when we say that, you know, Eminem, Joe, you might be about 10 feet back or something like that. No, with Steph Curry, you literally are picking him up at half court because this brother can pull up from 40. This is who he is. And so when you see that and you see his movement without the basketball, and the constant iteration of that movement, the way that he just seems nonstop, okay? When Draymond says that stuff, being familiar with international competition as well as NBA competition, you have to take him at his word and consider him, an expert on this particular subject. We're in no position to disagree with Draymond.
Before I joined ESPN, I was doing local radio in San Francisco. I moved there in December of 2014, right as all of this kicked into overdrive. It's every night. It's every night with this guy. It's something. It's the half-court shot. It's 5 threes in a quarter. It's 20 points in the fourth to bring you back from a 14-point deficit. It never ends. And I think what people fail to appreciate at times is that dudes at his size are not supposed to have this level of impact on this game. Anytime someone puts together their top 5 or their top 10, those dudes are 6'6" and beyond. They're not Steph Curry. You are not supposed to do what he does at that height, at that level, for that long a period of time. When you talk about the GOAT conversation, you have to be able to transcend the box score. A lot of great players can fill up the stats, but what is it that goes next level, right? With Jordan, it was the shoe game. Everyone started getting paid on shoes. That was the next level. All right, with LeBron, it was the player freedom, the movement, the mobility, the taking control of your career and going to play where you wanted with who you wanted to play with. With Steph, it was literally the changing of how the game was played, to Draymond's point, the prolific rise of the three-pointer. Look at how many three-pointers were being attempted pre-Steph Curry Golden State rise versus now. And there are people that will argue it has hurt the game to some extent. That's the other teams that have hurt it, not Steph. His place in history is cemented. He absolutely belongs in the GOAT conversation. Whether you give it to him or not, it's a different conversation. But when you're talking Rushmore, he's there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that you guys have said. It is, I think sometimes we got to take a deep breath, take a little bit of a step back to be reminded of Steph Curry's story through the league, the slow starts due to the ankle injury, the endurance, the coaching changes that we mentioned in the earlier segment in the first take. But I also think what is really cool about this, because we could marvel about the basketball of it all. And I say, you know this, I mean, Joe, you know this, we worked with Bob Myers, and I think we've all had a chance to probably have conversations with Steve Kerr, folks that have been a part of the Warriors organization. What I also very much appreciate about this is that folks will tell you that he's as good of a guy, if not better, a guy than he is person. And I think that is so special in terms of the loyalty that he will have the opportunity to demonstrate to that organization, and his place as far as the basketball of it all. But he has also been so deliberate in where he wants to lend his voice, lend his energy, and his monetary support in terms of leaving a very, very powerful legacy that has just been powered by basketball, but is not limited to it.
One other thing?
Yeah.
No drama. Literally no drama.
Yeah.
You never hear him complaining. You never at any turn see anything other than a leader. And that's not to cast shade on anybody else in the association. It's just all of us in the world we live in, with the way we complain about everything, hand up, I'm at the front of that line. You never hear about that guy complaining about anything, and he is constantly getting mauled by defenses and not getting the superstar treatment from refs he should be getting.
The other thing that we can't forget is that, listen, we all know that from a quintessential perspective, the greatest point guard in the history of basketball is Magic Johnson. We get that part, okay? Isaiah Thomas is up there. John Stockton is up there. Jason Kidd is up there. The point guard, Chris Paul, CP3 is up there. Gary Payton, the glove. We get all of